Here we are, part 2 of the goal setting lecture. I won't read all of these, you can read them at your leisure. But here are some characteristics of strategic planning: visionary yet realistic, customer driven, proactive not reactive, driven by priority, measurable, ongoing. We've touched on a couple of these things. Let me explain the concept of environmental scanning, also called situation analysis. Basically what you do is you look at the environment, economic, technology, politics, the legal issues that are involved in your area, social concerns for your industry, the international trends. More and more you see international competition, supplier availability, labor issues, competition, again both domestic and international, what's local, what's national, and changes in customer demographics. This is just a slide with some examples: a competitive analysis, company analysis. You might want to pause and read these a little more. Once you've done your situation analysis, you then do the SWOT analysis. I won't go into detail about this because you've already done an exercise with this. But basically, strengths and weaknesses are internal, opportunities and threats are external. This is what you use to determine strategy. So we get back to our strategic planning model, and you see we get to the planning phase here. Goals, operational planning. Here's another favorite cartoon. Short-term goals, lunch. Long-term goals, dinner. So you get the idea. Here's a step-by-step goal-setting model. Make sure you have the specific goals. You develop those. How do you get commitment, mutual trust, support by management, and pay attention to see if there's any kind of competition between employees and teams. This is counterproductive for goal setting for an entire organization. We talked about resistance to change. It's the same thing with resistance to goals. You would use some of the same strategies for addressing resistance to goals. During that set period for achieving goals, of course, I mentioned you have to have support and feedback from management. Employees may need more resources than just handing them a plan. Of course, if they're involved, they will also understand what's required. As managers and as individuals, you will be called upon to develop your own action plans in support of organizational objectives. Can't stress enough, you got to provide feedback. Feedback should be objective, not subjective. Again, here are some keywords and concepts: goal, goal setting. You may have heard of Six Sigma. Six Sigma is associated with quality achievement. It's a statistical term you may be familiar with. And then there's also a term called stretch goals. These are goals that do what it says. It requires the employee to stretch beyond what they have historically done in order to achieve objectives. Here's where you can allow some creativity in how to reach these goals. Okay, so that concludes this particular lecturette. Here's a list of the resources that I've used. And a lot of that information is stuff that I've sort of gleaned over the years, no particular reference. Some of it I've modified by myself. So if you have any questions, don't forget to ask. And that will conclude this little audio visual.